Milton preferred being elsewhere, somewhere he had a better chance to compete for the starter's job. Parenthetically, I'd ask if that's really Dallas, but we can debate that.
Yeah, so he's going to beat out Dak Prescott?
Apparently.
All right.
For Vrabel, who's trying to establish a culture and trying to set a tone for what's to come, that attitude didn't fly. He didn't wait. He extracted Milton before players arrive in town, and the Patriots offseason program begins today. Players are already here today. It's voluntary, so you don't have to show up. But apparently the deadline was now to get him out of town. They didn't want a malcontent, if you will, around Drake Maye. Your thoughts on that reporting from Mass Live?
I don't like putting it on the player like this. So now your backup thinks he can start, so you got to get rid of him. So we want all our backups to be happy being backups. It does feel like sort of a team thing, like, well, we had to get rid of him. No, you didn't.
Right.
You didn't have to get rid of him.
Tom Brady, after 1 year, thought he could make a run at Drew Bledsoe. Do you have to trade him?
No, they famously kept him.
So, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I think that you could spin that
Did Joe
as,
Milton ask for a trade?
Not in the reporting that I've seen, no.
N'Keal Harry asked for a trade. They laughed at him. Tyquan Thornton asked for a trade. They laughed at him. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Jake DeBrusk asked for a trade like 3 years in a row. Like, you don't have to trade guys.
It's true.
Because they ask. Is there more value in keeping Joe Milton as a developmental backup? Because I still think he's a backup. That's what he is. He's not going to start here unless May gets hurt. He's not going to start in Dallas unless Dak Prescott gets hurt. He's not going to start in most places unless somebody gets hurt. But so now you want to have backups that just know they're backups.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Don't you want competition?
I mean, that's what I would think. Text line, 617-779-7937. Guys, that's every backup quarterback in the NFL, right? They all think they should be starters.
Well,
just about.
Well, no.
Brissett did.
Brian Hoyer, playing behind Tom Brady, did not think he should start.
That's
and he would have been a maniac if he did.
Yeah.
But, yeah, most guys should want to start, and there are some that are more vocal about it than others. But that goes to show me either two things. Mike Vrabel can't handle Joe Milton wanting to be a starter, or Drake Maye can't handle it.
Right. So
and
now,
either one's kind of bad.
I don't have, first of all, right, you just tell Joe Milton, tough. Like, you're the back. Go ahead and compete for it. Go ahead and compete for it. But tough. So it's a story about Vrabel or May, and I'll add one more. The locker room. Like, was the locker room lining up behind Joe Milton? Because that, I would agree, that's potentially a problem. But then what does that say about Drake Maye? Guys in the room are Joe Milton guys over Drake Maye? What does that say about Drake Maye?
Yeah.
So if it got to that point, that's a problem. If it's just a guy who thinks he can make a run at being the starter, well, go compete in training camp. What's the Vrabel can't deal with that?
Well, I mean, Drake Maye and Joe Milton, when you draft two quarterbacks in the same draft class, you are by definition hoping for competition, aren't you? They're coming into the league at the same time. Obviously, one is the third overall pick, is more likely to be your starter, and hopefully he just is. Just start to finish. You don't have to worry about it. You never even really see the backup, and that's what it is. But with all the different injuries a quarterback sustained, he himself got hurt twice in a 12-game span last year. You would think you'd want the best backup possible. And even though Josh Dobbs is a serviceable veteran backup, zero upside there, you just found Joe Milton in the 6th round. That's not bad. There's no reason to get rid of him for a 5th-round pick. And now you're trying to use the excuse that, well, he thought he could be the starter.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
He's a professional athlete.
Why is that
thinks
such
he
a
should play?
So the guy thought he should be a starter, so send him out of town.
Do you think it looks worse for Vrabel or May? Because some of the other reporting too?
I think it's May.
Yeah.
Like, I have maintained all along, I think Drake Maye was threatened by her. Are you talking about Volan? How the family didn't like when Joe Milton was taken?
Again, I don't know if he got a DM on Twitter and rolled with that or if that's a legitimate thing.
Yeah, no, let's lean in on it. It's a reporter from the Boston Globe.
Okay, right. Let's go with that. So the Boston Globe.
Yeah.
They reported that Drake Maye's family.
Pristine reporting history.
100%.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah.
But if you read into it, and that's what I guess we can do, this is the report, but then just sort of take what actually happened. So saying that Drake Maye's family didn't like that they picked a quarterback.
Stop for a second. Isn't that totally plausible?
Yes. And also, why not?
Yeah. I mean,
good for them.
Yeah.
Why would they be thrilled about it?
I wouldn't be happy about it either.
No, I don't care. That's fine.
Now, look, that doesn't mean that you need to turn around and trade the guy. But, yeah, if I were Drake Maye's parents, I don't know if they really felt this way, but it's plausible to me. They go, wait a minute. You drafted my kid 3rd overall, and you're taking another quarterback in the 6th round? Why?
Yeah. I pro sports.
That makes sense.
So then also the last game of the season, which we were on at the time. This isn't revisionist history. Last game of the season, they unfortunately win the game, and then they have, like, after the game, like, let's talk to the players. Last time we're going to talk to the players. Not there. Now, didn't do the press conference, which we said at the time was fine. That was more about Joe Milton. Joe Milton had a press conference.
Well,
he got to go up at the podium. In the locker room, Drake Maye gone. Next day, you have the locker clear-out day where Christian Gonzalez, who was hurt, he spoke. David Andrews, who missed 75% of the season, he was there talking. Your quarterback? Crickets.
So
not there. So is he all pissy because Joe Milton was getting a lot of praise?
Well, to be consistent, you're right. After the Buffalo game, we both said no big deal that Drake Maye didn't talk after that game. The Monday after the season was over, we both felt at the time in real time he absolutely should have talked that day. I didn't care that he didn't come back for the Vrabel press conference or anything like that. But the day after the season was over, he should have talked about the season. You're the quarterback. You're the face of the franchise. So you should be talking about the season that happened, your first year out there, and he was unavailable. Now, I didn't have a problem in real time with Drake Maye not talking after the game. I'm like, I bet he wanted Joe Milton to get his shine and go up there, and he didn't want to detract and take away from Joe Milton. I now have a different perspective on that.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if that's really how he looked. I gave him the benefit of the doubt then.
Yeah.
Now I wonder, was he pissed?
That's something to watch.
So I do think it's something to watch. And if the best they can come up with, meaning the team, to justify, and all the stories you read this weekend, Garigian, I'll give you Reese here in a second.
I had to trade him.
All the stories you read, it's clear, especially in Karen's piece.
Yeah.
The team is acknowledging they got nothing for him. It's like, wow, it's shocking how little they got for him. Even the team, I think, is willing to bend the knee on that. And their supposed defense is that Joe Milton thought he was a starter.
He thought he could compete. God forbid.
A rookie in the NFL, former five-star recruit who played at Michigan and the University of Tennessee, thought maybe someday he could compete to be the starter, and that's why you took nothing for him in a trade? Indefensible. It remains indefensible, at least on the reporting I've seen.
Yeah.
If Joe Milton was ready to fight Drake Maye,
I know,
and the whole locker room was lining up behind Joe Milton and they all started to hate Drake Maye, then maybe you're onto something. I haven't seen that reported.
Also, quick
Joe
message.
Milton wanted to start, not a reason to trade him for nothing.
Also, quick message to all the backups currently on the Patriots. Don't let anybody know you want to start.
Don't even think about it.
Don't even talk about how you should play or you think you're actually pretty good. Don't you do it.
No.
Or you're going to be gone.
Travis Hunter, if you're the
first plane
third
to Dallas.
If you're the third corner on the team, don't even think about mentioning that you should be a starter in the league. Mike Reese had more on this about the timing of it, which, again, their offseason program begins today. The timing, according to a source familiar with the team's thinking, it wasn't a coincidence. Monday, today, marks the start of the team's voluntary program, and Vrabel views that as a meaningful checkpoint in the process of establishing team culture and the dynamic that ideally unfolds within each position group. So I put it more on Maye when you asked me this earlier.
Yeah.
But Vrabel's not exempt either. You can't handle a third-string quarterback thinking he should compete in year two?
No, get rid of him. Get rid of him. And it's been a wide range of guys they've gotten rid of, too, right? It's not just the rookie. They also got rid of a bunch of captains on the team. Like, they definitely are turning it over. And if that's what Mike Vrabel wants, you're like, all right, he wants his own guys in there. But I don't know if it's just Vrabel thinks it's going to be a headache or they feel like Drake Maye's more fragile and they're like, we just got to get this out of there altogether. But, yeah, it's just odd. Also, before you even do meeting, like, you didn't need to trade him right now. Like, you could have traded him later, right? You could have got. Did you want to see what it looks like, what the dynamic looks like?
You could have traded him at the end of the They traded Jacoby Brissett, if memory serves, at the end of his second preseason, right? It was right before rosters were set. They traded him for Phil Dorsett right before week one. You could have let him go out there, compete in training camp, show off his arm in the preseason. Maybe somebody falls in love and throws you a pick next year. You could have done that. You could have waited until next offseason. Like, there's a lot of things you could have done. And to get basically nothing in return. And again, that's not me talking. Go read Karen's piece at Mass Live. The team's basically telling you they got nothing in the trade. They know they got nothing in the trade.
Yeah.
And the justification is Joe Milton thought he should be a starter.
Well, that's the other,
Karen, hello.
That's bad business.
So that's what people keep bringing up too. Is like, well, what did you expect to get for him? I didn't expect much for him. That's why I hold on to him. Right? Like, it's not. It doesn't have to be both things. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, how come they didn't get a higher draft pick? It's like, then don't trade him. If other teams around the league don't value him that much.
If you didn't get knocked over, then hold on to him, keep working with him, and try to develop him and get more for him in the future.
If they end up taking a quarterback this year in the draft,
I think Reese
said that they might.
I think he basically told you they're going to. In his reporting,
so just tell that guy
that
he knows he's the backup, and don't even think about being confident in yourself. Don't even try it.
That's a good point. Like,
so that's what they should tell the guy.
Whoever you are, you're third string, and keep your mouth shut.
You draft Riley Leonard. Be like, hey, you know you're not going to play it all, right? You have no chance.
Reese wrote, item 3 in his Sunday notes, moving on from Milton increases the odds the Patriots will draft a quarterback or, at the very least, an undrafted signal caller because they usually carry 3 on their roster. That's the Patriots usually carry 3. You said Vrabel.
I think Vrabel does
that.
too a lot, yeah. There's a lot of 2 quarterbacks in Tennessee.
Yeah, 2. Reese is saying they usually carry 3 in New England. Vrabel did not do that in Tennessee.
So I disagree with that. I mean, I guess, if you go back to most Belichick years, I feel like it was 2.
Rules have also changed where the third quarterback doesn't count on the roster anymore.
Oh, good point.
The Patriots also had the year where it was Max Zappi and like 18 million third-string quarterbacks.
They tried them all out.
And then last year,
was on that team.
Last year they certainly had.
He was, but those guys also never really. They were like more practice squad guys. Most of like the Ian Books of the world. They weren't really on the 53 man.
Matt Corral.
I thought he was going to be good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I like that move. So it doesn't speak well to Vrabel that he can't handle a third stringer. If you want to spin it positively, what it does speak well to Vrabel is what you said earlier. He's getting the locker room back. He's getting his team back. Guess what? These captains that everybody loved, you guys are gone. We're going to get our guys in here, our message. We're going to send it to the team, and we're going to dictate it top down. And if I want to give Vrabel credit, he's clearly doing that this offseason.
Yeah.
I just think it was poor asset management with Milton. But from a locker room standpoint, getting your team unified on one message, look, he's definitely attempting to do that this offseason. We'll see if it works, but I think that's a pretty clear motivation of his.
Well, and we started this segment talking about, Tom Curran's comment about how Elliott Wolf is closer to Bass Pro than he is the GM of the
It is a good line.
Patriots, which is a good line, but also further proof that is the case. So anybody that was worried that Elliott Wolf might have a say in any significant moves, that's way out the window if it wasn't before. Also, we always kind of wonder how much is Robert Kraft going to step in on certain things. And so couple of press conferences ago, he was like, hey, maybe we have 2 quarterbacks, and then you ship them out for a 5th-round pick. Not even a 5th. People keep saying a 5th. You also had to give up a draft pick. But anyway, so Robert Kraft might have said, hey, he's one of 2 good picks we had last year. Maybe we hang on to him. And Vrabel's like, no, we're getting rid of him. He's like, okay.
Yeah. So, that's true. Maybe it's Kraft even has less power than he did when Mayo was here, which does make sense on some level. It's his team. He can run it how he wants, but maybe he'll take more of a back seat to Vrabel. Is the better way to phrase it. This is a good point. 617-779-7937. Who's going to be the bigger diva, May or Diggs?
I wonder if it's May.
The Diggs point. So I wonder if it's May as well.
Yeah.
The Diggs point is a good one, though. It's like, you can't handle third-string quarterback, 6th-round pick Joe Milton. Good luck handling Stephon Diggs. Like a guy who has fallen out of favor at least 2 of his 3 places. I would argue 3 of 3, since Houston wanted nothing to do with him after last year.
But there's a honeymoon period.
And I'm okay with this. I'm okay with Diggs squawking and opening his mouth and demanding targets. But you don't think you can handle Joe Milton, but you're confident you can handle Steph Diggs? Like, that's a good point by the text line.
Well, maybe then that goes back to Drake Maye. Right? Like Mike Vrabel can handle Steph Diggs, but maybe Drake Maye can't handle.
The signs are pointing at the quarterback.
Yeah.
It's interesting. 617-779-7937.